Welcome to African Folktales by Storybiz. Please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more interesting stories. Also, share this story with someone who might enjoy it. Let's dive into the story. Many years ago, in the beautiful city of Umuokoro, there lived a lovely woman named Olivia. She was married to a handsome young man named James, a plumber who earned a decent income to care for his family. Olivia, on the other hand, was a full-time housewife who managed her household with great pride and joy. They had 3 beautiful daughters, Sophia, Amelia, and Eva. Although Eva was the youngest, Olivia overworked her and treated her as though she were the eldest. Eva was tasked with cooking delicious meals and washing all the dishes after everyone had eaten. Meanwhile, Sophia and Amelia would sit in the living room eating and watching television. As if that wasn't enough, Eva had to sweep and clean the house from top to bottom and even wash her older sister's clothes. Day after day, Eva worked tirelessly. She would go to bed utterly exhausted, while Sophia and Amelia lazed around doing nothing. As years went by, Eva grew into a beautiful young lady. But she couldn't help wondering why her mother made her do all the housework while her older sisters did nothing. One day, Eva reached her limit. That morning, Olivia shouted, "Bia! Where is that girl? Eva, come here. Go and wash all 5 toilets in this house before you leave for school." Eva, tired and frustrated, replied, "Mama, 5 toilets. How do you expect me to wash 5 toilets this morning? I have exams. Besides, I've already cleaned the entire house and washed Sophia and Amelia's clothes. I can't do it again." Furious, Olivia screamed, "Eva, so you're growing wings now? You dare defy my orders in my husband's house? I will deal with you today. Shebi, you will still come back to this house." Ignoring her mother's threats, Eva grabbed her bag and ran off to school. James, observing the chaos, turned to Olivia and said, "Olivia, aren't you being too harsh? You overwork this young girl. Eva does everything in this house, while Sophia and Amelia do nothing. It's unfair. Please, stop treating her this way." But Olivia, glaring at James in disdain, retorted, "Oh, please. Shut up. You have no say in this. I'll treat Eva however I see fit, and you will do nothing about it." James, defeated, replied, "All right, if you like, kill her. It's your problem," and walked away. A few hours later, Sophia, Amelia, and Eva returned from school. Olivia stood waiting at the door with a long cane. "So, you finally came back. I thought you would keep running. Today, I will teach you a lesson. The next time I tell you to do something, you will obey without question." Olivia flogged Eva mercilessly, ignoring her cries and pleas. "Mama, please. I won't do it again. Please." Eva wailed, but her mother's heart remained hardened. Sophia and Amelia, her older sisters, stood by watching the scene. They didn't even try to plead on Eva's behalf. Instead, they laughed as their younger sister cried. Later that day, Eva sat alone in her room, tears streaming down her face. Thinking aloud, she said, "Why does mommy hate me so much? What have I ever done to her? Why does she treat me so differently from my sisters? She acts like she's not even my mother." The next day, Eva found her father, James, sitting alone on the balcony, enjoying a cup of chilled palm wine. Dejected, she approached him and asked, "Papa, why does Mama hate me so much? What have I done to her? Why does she treat me so differently from my sisters? Are you sure she's really my mother?" James, visibly concerned, replied, "Oh no, my love, don't say that. Of course, your mom is your mother, and she doesn't hate you. She's just trying to train you, Baikonu. Please don't let such negative thoughts take over your mind." But nothing changed for Eva. Olivia continued to maltreat her, while James did nothing to stop it. It seemed he was afraid of Olivia and didn't want to interfere. Sophia and Amelia, on the other hand, laughed and mocked Eva. Their mother pampered them, and they had grown into lazy young women, while Eva bore the brunt of all the work. Feeling unloved and unsupported, Eva decided to focus on her studies. She believed education would be her escape from this life. With fierce determination, Eva became a straight-A student. She aced her WAEC and JAM exams and even secured a scholarship to study medicine and surgery at one of Nigeria's most prestigious universities. Meanwhile, Sophia and Amelia, despite being older, failed their WAEC exams 5 times. Frustrated, James refused to pay for their exams anymore. He told them to learn a trade, suggesting hairdressing or tailoring. Sophia chose hairdressing, while Amelia began learning how to sew clothes. In contrast, Eva thrived at university. She worked tirelessly, excelling in her studies. She never returned home for holidays, even during school breaks, choosing to distance herself from her family to avoid relieving the pain they had caused her. Years passed, and Eva graduated as a medical doctor. She was overjoyed and grateful that her dreams were finally coming true. After graduation, she began her internship at the University of Nigeria Teaching Hospital. During this time, she stayed in touch with her father, James, speaking to him daily. Yet, she hadn't visited her family in 7 years. When James asked her to come James would respond, "Eva, stop lying to me. You're not the first to study medicine, and you won't be the last. I know we've all wronged you, but we are still your family. Please, find time to visit us." Despite his pleas, Eva stayed away. One day, Eva met a handsome young man named Luke. They fell in love instantly. Luke was upfront about his intentions. "I want to marry you as soon as possible," he said. "I'm not here for games or long boyfriend-girlfriend drama. I'd like to meet your parents so we can start the marriage plans." While Eva loved Luke deeply, the thought of returning home to face her family filled her with dread. A few weeks later, Eva and Luke traveled to Umuokoro to meet Eva's family. Eva was shocked by how much her father had aged, while her mother seemed to be getting younger. In fact, Olivia could almost pass as Eva's sister. Eva also noticed the state of her sisters' lives. Sophia was now a hairdresser, and Amelia, a tailor, had 2 children by 2 different men. Their lives were far from ideal, and Eva couldn't help but feel a pound of sadness. After meeting Eva's parents and expressing his intentions, Luke and Eva returned to Lagos. However, a few weeks later, Luke unexpectedly called off the wedding. He claimed he was no longer interested, leaving Eva devastated. She cried and begged him to reconsider, but Luke's mind was made up. Over the next few years, Eva noticed a troubling pattern. Each time she brought a suitor home to meet her family, the engagement would fall apart shortly after. This happened 4 times, and Eva began to suspect that something about her family was scaring off her potential husbands. Determined to take control of her life, Eva decided she would no longer introduce her suitors to her family. Instead, she resolved to have a court wedding and possibly even children before informing her family. Eva eventually met Butchie, a kind and handsome man. She told him about her strained relationship with her family, and the couple decided to get married without involving her parents. 2 months after the secret wedding, Eva's family somehow found out. Her father, James, was deeply hurt by her actions. He fell ill and passed away a few days later. Upon hearing of her father's death, Eva was inconsolable. She returned to Umuokoro to organize and pay for his burial. During the ceremony, Olivia approached her daughter with tears in her eyes. She apologized for her past actions and begged Eva for forgiveness, expressing a desire for the family to be united again. Moved by her mother's words, Eva forgave her and her sisters. After the burial, Eva returned to Lagos with Butchie but kept in touch with her family through frequent phone calls and by sending them monthly support. Slowly, they rebuilt their bond, and happiness returned to their lives. A few months later, Eva discovered she was pregnant. Overjoyed, she shared the news with Butchie, who was equally excited. However, as her pregnancy progressed, Eva grew worried about how she would manage her busy schedule as a doctor with a newborn. She shared her concerns with Butchie, who suggested, "Why not invite your mother to help?" In our tradition, the mother of the woman comes for Umuokoro. This could also be a great way to strengthen your relationship with her. Eva hesitated. "Isn't it too early to bring her to Lagos?" "I'm scared," she admitted. But Butchie reassured her, and she eventually agreed. Eva gave birth to a healthy baby boy, and she and Butchie were overjoyed. A few days later, Olivia arrived in Lagos for Umuokoro. The first few weeks were pleasant. Olivia took care of the baby, cooked meals, and doted on Eva. For the first time in years, Eva felt a sense of peace and love from her mother. Their bond grew stronger as they shared the joys of motherhood and family. Eva realized that healing and forgiveness were not just possible, they were essential for moving forward. Eva was grateful for her mother's help during her Umuokoro and was happy to have invited her. However, her maternity leave eventually ended, and she resumed work, leaving her baby in the care of her husband, Butchie, and her mother, Olivia. Butchie worked from home as a software engineer, and initially, everything seemed fine. Soon, Butchie began to notice unsettling behavior from Olivia. She would strike up unnecessary conversations whenever the baby was asleep. At first, Butchie thought she was just trying to bond with him as her son-in-law. But things took a disturbing turn. Olivia began dressing inappropriately, wearing crop tops and shorts without a bra, and parading around the house. Feeling uncomfortable, Butchie started working in his room to avoid her. However, Olivia would still find excuses to enter his room, often bending seductively while serving him food. Butchie was deeply disturbed and struggled to process what was happening. Butchie decided he needed evidence before confronting Eva. One day, while Olivia and Eva were out taking the baby for immunization, Butchie installed hidden cameras around the house. True to his suspicions, Olivia's inappropriate behavior was caught on camera. A few days later, Butchie sat Eva down and told her everything, showing her the video evidence. Eva was devastated and could barely believe her mother's actions. Through tears, she asked, "What did I ever do to deserve this? Why does my own mother hate me so much?" But the worst was yet to come. As they reviewed the footage, they discovered something horrifying. Olivia was secretly poisoning their son. Each time she prepared his food, she would sprinkle detergent into it. Eva, overwhelmed with anger and heartbreak, called the police. Olivia was arrested and taken away. A few days later, Eva visited her mother in prison, desperate for answers. "Mama, why do you hate me so much? Why have you treated me this way since I was a child? Are you really my mother?" Eva asked, tears streaming down her face. Olivia broke down and confessed, "I'm so sorry, Eva. I should never have treated you the way I did. But the truth is, I'm not your mother. Your real mother was my twin sister. She died giving birth to you. I raised you out of obligation, but I could never let go of the anger I felt toward her." She continued, "Your mother was always jealous of me. She had wealthy men, lawyers, doctors, who wanted to marry her, but she chose to ruin my life instead. She took my husband, James, and had you with him. After she died, I was left to care for you, a constant reminder of her betrayal. I transferred all my pain and hatred to you. I'm so sorry, Eva. I destroyed your life and your home just as she destroyed mine. I even lied to your suitors, telling them you had multiple abortions and couldn't have children. Please forgive me." Eva was speechless. She left the prison in tears and told Butchie everything. Grateful that her son was safe and her home intact, Eva made a firm decision to cut ties with her mother and sisters. To her, they no longer existed. Olivia was charged with attempted murder and intent to cause grievous bodily harm. Unable to afford a good lawyer, she spent years in prison. Meanwhile, Sophia and Amelia's lives continued to spiral downward. They lived in poverty, struggling to care for their children born out of wedlock. Eva, on the other hand, focused on her family and career, grateful for the peace and stability she had built despite her painful past.